Momtrepreneurs are busy. Yes, I stated the most obvious quality about being a momtrepreneur. You know you need to continue to educate yourself, but it's hard to find time. You know it is important to keep learning and growing, but how do you pick the best business book? Like everything else you do, this takes intentional planning and good recommendations. Hey moms, welcome to another episode of the Life Unboxed blog show, where we talk about all things momtrepreneur, from raising your kids to running a business, and the most important one, to keeping your sanity. I am Jody the mom from lifeunboxed.blog. If you're enjoying this content, I would really appreciate it if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel. This just helps me know what kind of content you're looking for. And if you're listening to the podcast, be sure to download the podcast and leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening. Thank you for sharing this podcast with your friends. Remember, I would love to hear your questions that you just can't seem to get answered. In a previous episode, we talked about how to pick the best business book, and I will leave the link below. Today, I want to share with you my top 8 book recommendations. And it's one of my favorite topics to talk about, books, so we're going to have a lot of fun today. So here are my favorite business books. Now, this is the endorsement I can give them. They were so good that I listened to the audiobook from the library. I like to check out books first on I use the Overdrive app. You get free books that way. Free, or check them out free from the library. So I listened to the audio first from the library, and then I went and actually bought the physical book. Because I am a visual learner, I wanted to have the actual book so I can go through and highlight it and make notes and use it for future reference. These are not listed in any particular order. I'm just going to give you the books as they popped into my head, but I do highly recommend all of them. Now, some of the books in their ideas, they may contradict each other, but I am all for hearing both sides of the argument or discussion, not really an argument, and distilling the best ideas from both sides. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to get out of your way and we're going to get into the books. Okay, for those listening on the podcast, I am showing my screen of images of all the books for all the visual learners, but I will be sure to give you the full title and the author's name, and you can also I will leave links in the descriptions for on the YouTube channel, the podcast, and you can always find all my book recommendations on lifeunboxed.blog. So let's get into this. So the first book that I want to talk about is Building a Storybrand by Donald Miller. So this was one of those really overhyped books that I really resisted reading for a very long time. But let me tell you, it really over-delivered. So it was a great book to focus on what I wanted to do and how to tell a story. It was so good, I listened to the audio version and then I bought the book so I could go through and highlight it. This is I won't call it a guarantee. My strong recommendation is that you won't regret investing time or money in this book. Everyone loves a good story, and Donald Miller really shows you how to incorporate story into your business marketing model. So the book also gives you the structure of a story. Like literally, he goes through like the basic steps of what's included in a story. He shows you through he'll talk about Star Wars movies, and he has a few other ones in there, but the Star Wars is the one I remembered. So you can plan your business story with step-by-step guidance. So the title, again, is Building a Storybrand by Donald Miller. So the next book we're going to talk about is EntreLeadership by Dave Ramsey. So I thought this book was really good. It gave a lot of practical advice for leading a team. So even though you may be virtual, you still may have opportunity to lead a team virtually, or even people you may hire at some point. So it was so good, I actually had my 13-year-old read it as well. He definitely has leadership qualities. He just needs some wisdom and maturity to go along with it. So if you manage a team, plan to manage a team, or just have worked under bad leaders or managers, you should read this book. It will give you clear principles on what a good leader is and does. 'Cause leadership is a responsibility that is often given, but a skill that is rarely taught. And so, one endorsement is Dave Ramsey's company has been named one of the best places to work in Nashville 10 times. So he seems to be a leader that practices what he preaches. So definitely a good leader to take advice from. Hey, if you get voted the best place to work that many times, you have something to say that we should listen to. The next book on our list is Start With Why by Simon Sinek. So, the premise of this book is to go beyond what you do and really dig deep and build your business on why you do it. Why is what inspires you and continues to motivate you to do what you do. So, personally, how this book helped me as I started to pivot my virtual assistant business, this book helped me to really think through why and what I wanted to do. So I got to the point where I could determine that what I really wanted to do was to help small businesses be successful by taking some of those frustrating must-haves off their plates. So even if I eventually change how I do this or what I do, my why will never change. So I find Simon Sinek, because I also like to watch stuff on his YouTube channel. I find him to be a refreshing idealist, so it counters my cynical side sometimes. I heard someone say once that if you scratch the surface of a cynic, you'll find an idealist underneath, and that is definitely me. So it's good to hear from an idealist who seems to be making it work. All right, so for book 4 on our list, it is Great at Work by Morten T. Hansen. So let's get that picture up so you can see it. So this book can be summed up in one phrase: do less and then obsess. When you're starting out building your business, you can have the tendency to say yes to everything because you're building. That's what you do. This book will really help you focus on what is the most important to you. In any business, there are many stages. And if you are not at the point that you feel like you can focus on less, that's okay. And what I mean by less is you're really narrowing down your niche or your services or, different things like that, not the amount of work that you're doing. You can still start a virtual assistant business without knowing your niche. And there's going to be more to come on that, I promise you. And it's going to be good. So be on the lookout. But if you want help just to really start to think through your focus and what you want to really obsess about, this is a great book to read. I've thoroughly enjoyed reading it. So even though I would counter the idea that you have to have a niche in order to start a business or to have a business, I still found this book to be helpful for my business. Number 5 on our list is Grit by Angela Duckworth. There it is. So, you've heard me talk about this book before. And I just found this book to be so good that, yes, I bought it. And then I added it to my oldest son's 8th grade curriculum. So I've never seen myself as someone who is a highly talented or a gifted individual. But I do possess a tenacity to see things through until the end. Like, I have been called a bulldog by my coworkers before. And I take it as a compliment, as it was intended to be. So this book really focuses on that quality. As an example, when I was in college or Bible school, I don't have my degree. But when I was in Bible school, I decided to teach myself how to play the guitar. And I am not musically inclined, and I had a lot of people around me who were very good at playing. But I knew I possessed one quality, and that was I was gritty enough to work hard at it. And I did teach myself to play the guitar. Now, don't get me wrong, I cannot play like Santana or Jimi Hendrix, but I am happy with what I could do. So, if you're a mom that possesses this gritty quality, then this is a must read for you. And if you are someone who has a lot of talent, then this book is also for you. It will inspire you to be gritty. And I think that's a good thing. And our sixth book is Range by David Epstein. I'm going to pull it up here. Okay, so remember how I was saying some books may contradict each other? So this will probably be in complete contradiction, or most contradiction, to Great at Work, the idea of do less and then obsess. But that's okay, because there's a lot that you can get from reading both sides of the discussion. So if you're a generalist living in a specialist world, can I get a shout out from any of you generalists who are watching this? You need to read this book. So I will give this caveat. He does get a little into the weeds on some of the points he is making, but if you can get past that, he makes some great points. So a lot of time when you're in traditional publishing, there's a specific word count that you have to meet, or that the publisher needs. And so that's why if you feel like a book is padded, it probably is padded to meet that specific word count. And so I did feel that way with this book. I felt like he could have gotten to the point quicker, but hey, I would still it's still on my top 8, but I wanted to let you know that's the one thing I didn't like about the book. So this book and the points that he makes really challenge the accepted idea and explore outside of the box. So our culture is obsessed with specializing. In every business book, business blog, or even in education, there's a constant push to specialize in something. And the author very systematically dismantles this idea. So with everything so focused on specializing, we need to take apart this accepted norm and truly change our thought process when it comes to how we look at job skills, building a business, and how we learn. So I am a generalist living in a specialist world. Anyone else with me on that? And number 7, Atomic Habits by James Clear. So this is another author that really challenges the accepted norms when it comes to goal setting. I have grown to despise all the mantras and how-tos when it comes to goal setting. For one very good reason, they just don't work. Maybe if you had a live-in nanny, you are able to subscribe to one of those food services that deliver dinner to your door, or, I don't know. Maybe if you didn't have kids, then, these would work for you. They don't work for me at all. So whether you're setting SMART goals or SMARTer or the big, hairy, scary, whatever, nothing works. And yes, I have followed all of the steps and the to-dos. So you know what ends up happening? Life happens. Kids get sick, days, weeks, even months get hijacked by things I could not foresee or plan for, and my goals end up by the wayside. So now that I've ranted, I will tell you why I found this book to be so refreshing. He doesn't focus on goals. He focuses on creating systems to improve yourself and reach goals. So basically the idea of a goal in this is just the end result. So to reach these end results a little bit every day. So the focus is to make 1% improvement every day. Now that, to me, is reasonable. That I can do. 1% every day is not easily hijacked. So for an example of this 1% improvement every day, if you want to write a book, Don't try to jump in with the goal of writing 500 words every day for the next 4 months to reach 60,000 words. That's a lot. And your kids will probably not help you out. If you know what I'm talking about. So more than likely, if you aren't used to writing, you will get burned out and stop. Or again, your schedule, your days are just going to get hijacked. And that's okay. We're moms. That's what happens. So instead, what you do is get into the habit of writing a little bit every day. So take 2 minutes and write. And you just write every day for 2 minutes. As you improve, then add 2 more minutes. Eventually, you will train your mind and body to really focus on this time. If you think about it, so writing 2 minutes, you can take your phone into the bathroom and hide out and just write the 2 minutes for your day. So if you have this goal of trying to write 500 words every day, and you're not hitting that goal and you're getting discouraged, because that's the cycle. You set these goals, your days get hijacked. That's the best word to use. And then they end up falling by the wayside and you get discouraged. And then the cycle begins again. So the best thing to do is start small. Go into the bathroom, take your phone with you. You want to write that book? Do it for 2 minutes. You need to brainstorm ideas for your website. Take 2 minutes and do it. And start small, because you will get that snowball effect as you keep doing this every day for 2 minutes. 2 minutes is not a big ask at all. It will start to snowball and pile up, and pretty soon, sooner than you think, you will have reached your goal by just improving 1% every day. And the 8th book in our series, we made it to the end of the list, is How to Make a Living with Your Writing by Joanna Penn. And if you want to incorporate writing into your business, or even make a business with your writing, then I highly recommend this book, and really her other ones in the same series. So I find her books to be the most practical, to the point, and very information rich. She covers a lot. And even if you aren't planning on writing being your main focus, if you're maintaining your social media, you're maintaining your website, you're maintaining all these different platforms, or even trying to do guest posts in your field, or all of these are different ways that you are writing. And so I just find her books to be extremely helpful, even if being a self-published author isn't the goal. So I would recommend these books if you're writing at all. So I also listen to her podcast. It's called The Creative Pen, and I just get a lot of enjoyment out of it. I really enjoy the creative process. And as I've mentioned before, I work with artists on the other side of that creative process. So I like hearing the writing creative process. So she is a self-published author, and she gives really practical advice on how to do it. And makes you feel like, hey, I could do this. I could actually write a book. So I might have one in my future. So I do have a bonus book for you, and it is called The Quick Fix by Jesse Singal. Singal, Singal, Singal. That's how you spell it, if I'm not pronouncing it correctly. So the reason it's a bonus is because I haven't read it yet, but I wanted to bring it to your attention. So when I first wrote this blog post, and it's been a little while since I wrote it, this book hadn't been out yet, and so I really wanted to bring it to your attention, because he talks about examining the most influential ideas of the recent past and the shaky science that supports them. So the reason I mention this book is some of the ideas he is debunking are part of my list that I just gave you. So like I said, I am all for hearing all sides of an idea. So let me add this. Never take any one idea for business and think, if I just do this, then I'm guaranteed success. All ideas are flawed, and it is up to you to take the best parts of an idea that will work for you. And who knows, maybe this book is the more flawed idea. So I'm excited about hearing it because it is in my Audible queue. And it's going to be interesting to see what evidence he brings up to debunk some of these ideas. So your reading list should definitely be full for a while. So let me know in the comments below if there are other books that cause you to have that aha moment. I'm always looking to learn and read a good book. So tell me in the comments below, what is your favorite business book and why would you recommend it to us? We need to hear from you. I am so glad you joined me today. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And remember to check out the Life Unboxed store for all of your Mom Boss merch. The link is in the description below. And if you would like to support the channel by buying me a coffee, can always use plenty. You can do so through my Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/lifeunboxedblog. I truly appreciate your support. For more great momtrepreneur content, visit lifeunboxed.blog. Be sure to share the podcast, YouTube channel, and website with your friends. I truly appreciate your support. We'll see you in the next video.